And right after this, we will continue the session to the next discussion by our distinguished guest with the topic of climate awareness for a sustainable and climate-friendly tourism. I would love to welcome to the stage the COO of Ecotourism Bali and our beloved moderator for this session, Ibu Rahmi Fajar Harini. Let's give one big round of applause.
Hello. Thank you, Wendy. Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that lunch will not make sleepy. Still on to talk about climate? Are we on to talk about climate? Are you interested to talk about climate? Okay, sounds good. Thank you, friends. I need that. Okay, so yeah, this is the first talk that we raised about climate. As Ibu Deputy mentioned, that if we talk about the negativity, not negativity, but what's happening, we talk about the degrees that we have to reach 1.5 to reduce, but Ibu Susi already said no, cannot. So, but this session, I want to highlight more about what can we do. I mean, yeah, there are things happening, there are things that out of our control, but I want to highlight from the speaker that I will invite that there are things that we can do to mitigate that. And without further ado, I would like to invite my mentor, Ibu Susi. Please come on stage. Ibu Susi Utomo, founder of Ecotourism Bali. Silakan Ibu. Yeah. And then another mentor of mine, Ibu Amanda Katili, a director of Climate Reality Indonesia. Silakan Ibu Amanda. So Ibu Susi is my mentor and Bu Amanda is Ibu Susi mentors. We are climate sphere. And then there will be Bapak Fabi Tumewa. Is he already ready online? Bapak Fabi Tumewa. Halo Pak Fabi. Hi.
Hello, I'm here.
Yes. Apa kabar?
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Fabi. Hope you are well.
Thank you.
And then Bapak Vincent from Apurva Kempinski. Please, Bapak, give a round of applause. Okay. Thank you, Bapak dan Ibu. We're going to talk a bit of mixed bahasa and English. Yeah. So when we talk about climate, of course, there are experts in the industry or in the topic. So introduce Bapak Fabi Tumewa as the Executive Director of IESR. Maybe Bapak Fabi would like first because of the schedule. Bapak Fabi, could you share to us what is IESR and then what do you do actually that relate with the climate? Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. I'm very sorry that I'm not able to join you in Bali. I really love to be there, but unfortunately, because of other prior commitments that have to be in Jakarta, so I can connect through using this online. Well, my name is Fabi Tumiwa. I'm the Executive Director of Institute for Essential Services Reform, or ISR. ISR is a think tank in energy and climate policies in Indonesia. And since we've been around since 2006, and our primary work is to push for or to uh, um, advocate for the energy transition in Indonesia, meaning that we push to shift the energy system, change the energy system from fossil fuel to clean energy, to renewable and energy efficiencies. So what ISR has been doing until now, so we conduct studies, research to support our advocacy work. We propose, we work with government, with other stakeholders as well, with business on policy reform, regulatory reform. So we provide a number of suggestions. We also do technical advice to key government agencies. And we also monitor the state of climate progress in Indonesia in our climate commitment. If you know about a well-known publication called Climate Action Tracker that track more than 50 countries in the world on their climate policies. So ISR is one of the member of this Climate Action Tracker. There are three members. ISR is one of them. And we conducted assessment of 5 or 6 countries, including Indonesia. So the latest report of Climate Action Tracker, you can see from the website, also assess Indonesia rating on climate policy. Sadly, I have to tell you that in terms of this rating, Indonesia declined. Well, the rating is declined compared to last year, and this is because the increasing greenhouse gas from power sectors that drive by the increasing number of coal plants for smelters. So we saw 21% greenhouse gas increase last year. In addition to that, it's also the activities of building the new capital, because the emission from the activities and the land use change as we also contribute to that. So that's a number of ISR, what ISR has been working so far. In Bali, in particular, we've been working in Bali since 2019, promoting the adoptions of clean energy in Bali, renewable energy. So we support Bali government since in the development of Bali clean energy regulations that issued by Governor Koster back in 2018. And just recently, in August this year, together with Bali provincial government, we also launched new initiative called Bali Net Zero 2045. And Bali Net Zero 2045 is initiative to decarbonize Bali energy system by 2045. So 15 years earlier than the national government target. And this kind of a challenge, but we hope that it could help Bali to become more sustainable and clean. Yeah. So I can explain more about Bali Net Zero 2045 initiative. Yeah, but that's maybe for now about ISR. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pa Fabi, for the introduction about IESR. I believe that there's limited time for you. Is it possible we go directly to the question for you before you go?
I can stay until
Ken?
2:30.
Okay,
So
so
I'm fine
then,
right now.
okay,
Yeah.
good. So maybe jump to the other panelists, Pa Fabi, before we go to the question. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you, Pa Fabi, for the explanation. Go to the second panelist. Ibu Amanda. Ibu Amanda is the Director for Climate Reality Indonesia, Climate Reality Project Indonesia. And Ibu Amanda, if you know Al Gore, this is a foundation founded by Al Gore. And yeah, maybe we start with the introduction. What is Climate Reality Project and how Bali tourism can contribute towards climate change, Ibu Amanda? Floor is
Hello.
yours.
Thank you so much. It's really nice to be in Bali, where the environmental preservation practices is inherent in Balinese Balinese day-to-day life. And it's a privilege to be in this beautiful and elegant hotel, Mr. Vincent. Thank you so much. So Climate Reality, it's the Climate Reality Project, is its formal name, is founded by Al Gore in 2006 to catalyze a global solution on climate crisis by making every action a necessity for local people. We have almost 50,000 volunteers all over the world that mainstream the issue of climate change, as well as solutions and action, of course. But in Indonesia alone, we have 1,000 volunteers. There are volunteers in 190 countries. In Indonesia, we have them all over the provinces. And I'm happy to say that Ibu Susi is one of our patrons. And Pak Fabi is also part of the organization. And there are also several in the room, including Deska from Ecotourism, as well as Hana. So thank you very much. So these volunteers were trained by Al Gore and a team of scientists and activists on how to really get the communities active in climate action. So after the 3 days training, they were called climate reality leaders, and they can do any activities that they would like to do, including advocacy, communication, being a content creator, write blogs or making movies, anything that you like, and based on your capability and resources, of course. The most interesting thing is you don't have to be a scientist, you don't have to be a government official to be a climate reality leader, because our pool of volunteers, the age range is from 12 to 87 years old. So anybody could be involved in this organization. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, Ibu, for the introduction. Maybe we jump to Ibu Susi now before we go to the talk show. Ibu Susi, why ecotourism highlight about climate? I still remember the very first time, Ami, we need to talk about climate. So this is the time. Why we have to highlight about climate, Ibu? What is the importance?
That's right. Thanks, Ami. As you remember, when we first started this Ecotourism Bali, I mean, obviously, Ami was very interested in sustainability, but I told her we have to talk about climate change because this is an existential crisis. It is now happening. But because climate is a little bit, how do you say, happening slowly or relatively slowly until recently, people are not really aware, and it's really important that we talk about this, especially as it impacts Bali a lot, because Bali is an island, yeah, and Bali has a tourism industry. So actually, the impacts on climate change on tourism is going to be quite a lot if we look out, say, over 20, 30 years. You know, we're going to feel it. I mean, even right now, if we open those windows, we can see the ocean. And we know that with climate change, sea levels will rise, for instance, and that's going to be needing a lot of investment, a lot of mitigation and adaptation. So I said to Ami that this is really important. And luckily today we found the moment to talk about this.
Okay, thank you, Ibu. So there is a connection, right, of the
A very,
sustainability
very close connection, I would
and
say.
the climate. And therefore, I'm going to jump to Bapak Vincent. Like, Pak Vincent, Apurva known as their sustainability practice, and it's well known. So how do you do it? And then what are the biggest takeaway when implementing in the sustainability into this clean tourism that is related to climate? So what are the most common thing that you do in Operation Hotel?
Well, thank you very much. What do? We started, I'll go back to where we started, if you allow me. From the very beginning, when we set up to open the hotel, we started to look at it and started to take it seriously. I've been in Bali for 18 years now, and it was the third time I was coming back. And I came back after living in 2010. I came back in 2017, 7 years later. And obviously, Bali had changed quite dramatically, as we all know. And we really, it was an objective to be able to create an impact in what we do every day. So this, obviously, when we open, is very difficult. There's other priorities. But we very slowly, very simply, started with local product and looking at the local product and what we can bring. So if you look at the Chinaware in the hotel, all the Chinaware comes from Indonesia. Even if you find a foreign product, it's something produced in Indonesia. So just with little things like this, we started. And very, very quickly, when we opened, we started to work on Earth Check and basically brought Earth Check to the table. And we thought that starting with the governance and being able to assess where we are was extremely important. And then the second stage, so if we go to governance and the way we have worked on governance, we started with, as I said, with EarthCheck. We are now silver, and we are working towards gold, which is the highest one. Yeah. So that's where we're starting. We are just about to enroll with GSTC as well to be able to, we are going to start that now. So January will be the kickoff start. We are probably, I think we are the second property or the second entity in hotels in Bali, starting with ESG report. We are just about to send it out and basically develop further with that. So we've got a very, very strong base when it comes to our governance and the way we are looking at moving forward. It is part as well, I would say, the governance and what we are doing. It is also, we've been open for 5 years on the 1st of February 2024, and it is part of our marketing initiative for the next 5 years as well. So we have a plan developed for the next 5 years. Now, when I'm looking at my cards because I want to make sure I don't miss anything, I just realized that we have missed a few in what we have listed because we are doing so many. Then we look at environmental initiative. Before this, we work with partners. I think what I see around the room today and when I speak to people is when you have the same mindset, it's very important to collaborate together and to be together. So I think if I take something away from today, is this. It's a great pleasure to be here today and to see that everybody has got a little word and everybody wants to say something and everybody is having their own impact. We've worked with Nissan for electrical vehicles, and we've got a partnership with them, which has been very successful and impactful, and basically sends a message to our guests and awareness. For this, we have to have solar panels, so Danone came in for the solar panels. So again, you're providing a service to us, but you need to give back. So can we collaborate together? They were very welcome, and we collaborated with them. We are working with two aspects where we have developed a big initiative about 2 years ago with Samsara Living Museum at the foothill of Besaki, where we have re-engineered or we have brought back traditional traditional farming, but organic traditional farming. And for this, we're working with 7 farmers at the moment, whereas we help them to develop the product, and we buy the product directly. So it's farm to table, we call it, but with no intermediate. And we provide the seed, we provide the technicality. So for the technicality, I've got 2 gardeners here, plus 4 students from the school, which we are trying to develop as green warriors as well, and to be able to help the farmers, and we buy the products directly. So it's very, very powerful. At the same time, we have an hydroponic garden. We've got lots of rooftop surfaces in this hotel, and we have developed an hydroponic garden which serves directly the restaurants. So this is in place as well. The other things we have worked with, we are working with Javara. We have developed that this year, where Javara, the same, like as you all are trying to work with local product and reinstate local farming, reinstate local product biodiversity. So we are working with them. We've developed a menu called the Majapahit dinner menu, which is basically talks, because our lobby is all about the Majapahit era. And we buy their product as well. So a lot of the product are products which are lost products, and bringing back biodiversity into Indonesia. So we are working with them. In our menus in the restaurant, especially something like in Coral, where you've got a huge impact with the aquarium we have. We have a local flair, we call it a local flair menu, where basically all the products are 100% from Bali. What else do we work on?
So
We do a lot.
You
So
do a lot.
I'm going to
Exactly.
give you another. We do. 2 years ago we launched Green Wedding, where basically we saw that the decoration is all plastic, plastic flowers, and we go on and on and on and on. So we brought in Design Mills as a wedding organizer to work on green initiative and to develop a green wedding, basically. So if you want to get
Minimize the
married
waste,
in a
yeah.
green way, please come to the Apuba Kempiski Bali. We've got it. We've got it all for you. Okay.
Okay.
And then another initiative we have taken is to work very closely with Tanamera Coffee. It's a local brand, and basically they've done our coffee, and so it's another partnership we've done. And when it comes to aquarium as well, the restaurant and the Coral restaurant, we have tried to bring some awareness. And when I see around the table, and everybody mentions the same thing, it's about developing awareness. With Aribayu Badji, we basically collects the rocks in the ocean or on the beaches, and basically does art pieces with it. I invite you to follow him. He works from here, lives in Canada, does a lot of things in Japan, in South Korea, he's everywhere, and basically promoting saving the oceans. So we do all of this.
You still have like hundreds of it? Like
I don't know, I've got a list, so you won't get bored. I just want to tell you that we do a lot of social activities as well, where we bring all the communities together, and that's part of...
and you do it quite consistent, like every week or every month, right?
Well, we do it through our teams. So basically we have the Bapartai, so we use the Bapartai as a leverage to be able to speak to the communities. So it's the local communities within your village, of course, but it goes further up as well, where we go to the countryside and we go and do activities there. This morning we were planting mangroves, by the way. Okay, so just to tell you.
A busy activity in the hotel.
Yeah. And all of these activities are part, as I said, are part of our marketing program. So you will see many of our marketing program called Unity in Diversity, which speaks in the lobby because of the Majapahit era, and you will hear as well of powerful Indonesia. So this is what we do, and this is what we invite. We believe in it. We, like a little bit everybody, we are saying it's a community effort. So So we have the opportunity to bring communities together, and we use that to the forefront, basically, to make an impact.
Please give a round of applause because so many initiatives that he has done for Apurva. And yeah, I just want to make a connection of what actually the practice from a hotel operator related to climate. That, yeah, what is local purchasing related to climate? What is it like? Is it like just one way, economy, CSR? Actually, it's beyond that. It's related to the carbon. It's related to the impact on the environment, and probably would be the best answer to
Yes.
the expert here. What is the connection, Ibu?
I also want to have a shout out for yourself and for Apapra for our lunch menu,
Yes.
which was very sustainable.
Yes.
There was no
No
beef.
yes, no
there
beef.
was not, you
for
know,
like-
was all
We
seafood and
followed
vegetable.
the guideline.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that
I
wonderful.
just heard it was not spicy enough, so next time make sure it's spicy enough.
Yeah.
That is local
Yeah.
taste.
We're all Indonesian, so
It
we'll
was
go for that.
It was not not spicy, so it was served non-spicy. I'm sorry for the people who were looking for the spice and
Should have the sambal on the side.
the sambal. Yeah, we put the sambal on the side next
Yeah,
time.
thank you very much, though. That was very much appreciated.
Yeah, Ibu, because Ibu is vegan, yeah. So
I'm vegetarian, so
Vegetarian,
I
sorry,
really
yeah.
enjoyed that. Yes.
So yeah, what I want. This is a question for everybody. What are the connection of, let's say, this practice and that could relate to climate? Is there somebody in the panelists would like to answer? But still, it's still 10 minutes for Pak Fabi. But for specifically for Pak Fabi, I have a question. Like you said that IESR work a lot with the government for the clean energy transition. How about the industry? How does the industry can do that for the transition? Should the industry work with the government, or should the industry work with you, or what can they do for that outlook? Especially the governor also have a plan for that. Please, Pak Fabi.
Yes, if you look at the energy transition, so basically, I mean, look from the climate perspective, that by 2030, we have to cut 45% of global emission level, 45% of global emission level to compared to 2010, level of 2010. So it's a huge. It means that this, and because the energy sector or energy emission from fossil fuel, from energy, contribute around 75% of global emission. Therefore, to cut this emission, we have to do clean energy transition very rapid. Even if we would like to follow Paris Agreement target, scientists already warned that we only have 6 years left to meet our maximum carbon budget. So that's the challenge. So again, the energy transition should happen rapidly, right? So we have less than 6 years to do that.
So
And this will bring a question: who should do this energy transition? Because energy system is very, very. It's a complex. It's not just power. It's also industry and transport. So we have to do that simultaneously for every energy sector. And the question: who has to do this energy transition? Of course, you see the role of. Hello, can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
All right, okay. Because I
Please,
think
please,
the
yeah.
connection is paused for
You were
few
saying
second.
that the role is.
yeah. So we have to do the transition fast, and the government should come up with the plan, come up with the roadmap, come up with the policy and regulatory support to enable this rapid transition, including provincial government, like Bali government, for instance. But in order to do that scalable and rapidly, we need to bring everybody, including the industries. Since 2019, ISR has been working, I think, with tourism sector in Bali also to promote the utilization of renewable energy in their hotels. You can find in our website, for instance, that potential of rooftop solar of in 4 hotel in Nusa Dua and Kuta area. So we believe that actually hotels can participate in the energy transition by using more renewable energy that they can generate by themselves, using rooftop solar, for instance, and use the energy more efficiently. So these two measures, which I think could contribute a lot in increasing renewable energy utilization, as well as reducing emission. Right now, of course, we have to think about the transportation as well. So reducing the emission from the transport, from the operations of car, of the vehicles is also very, 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 very important. The use of not just electric vehicle, but promotion of non-motorized vehicle like bike and others for the gas is also very, very important. And while you charge your electric vehicle, if possible, make sure that you use clean energy as much as possible. We know that in Bali and most of Indonesia, the electricity is supplied by PLN. So if you look at the emission intensity of PLN electricity, because we still have PLN have 65% of their electricity supplied by coal power plant, the emission intensity is pretty high, so around 0.8 ton CO2 per megawatt hour. So I think in this case, it would be great if also hotels owners in Bali ask PLN to greening their grid. It means that as consumer, you can push PLN to supply clean electricity or low carbon electricity instead of high carbon electricity. I think this kind of good. So it's not just installing solar rooftop or having energy efficiency, energy conservation in your premise, but also collectively, we should demand our utility to produce more clean energy and reduce emission intensity in the grid. So I think that's something that I would like to propose, and we would be very happy to work with you all, with all the technical calculation and strategizing together how to make this happen for Bali and also to support Bali Net Zero 2045. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so we need to work collectively if we want to achieve that target, correct? That is the summary?
Yes.
Yeah, and the focus of this clean energy is not only solar panel, but also it's related to transportation. And I just assume it's not transportation for tourists, but we're talking also the industry, like Bapak said, governance, the staff included, and everything that relates to transport, it can be converted to more clean energy. Is that correct, Bapak?
For the transport, make sure that we use more clean energy or reduce our fossil fuel, but also, and it can be done by increasing, for instance, non-motorized vehicle as well as utilization of public transport.
Okay. What the position, like from you as the expert, do you think it can be achieved if we gonna work together? Like, is it possible? Is it doable to do that? Now we're in a event where everybody is here, from the policymaker, the industry, the operator.
From technical standpoint, it is possible, but when we talk about clean energy infrastructure, clean transport infrastructure, it needs to be planned because we cannot do that individually. If we talk about the transport system, it has to be planned. And that's why the good thing is that the authority to plan the transports lie by the local government, either provincial or district government. So we have to help them actually to design this transport system. And one of the part Bali Net Zero 2045 initiative is actually greening this transport by promoting the utilization of electric vehicle, not only for private use, but also a public transport. So electrified public transport is one of our key measures to achieve this Bali Net Zero 2045.
Okay, noted. So public transport is something that is doable to achieve that plan. Okay, thank you, Pak Fabi. I'm going to continue to the other panelists. Can you still...
Thank you, and I have to leave
Yeah.
very, very soon. And thank you very much for this opportunity, Bu Susi, Bu Amanda. Sorry I cannot meet you in person, but hope to see you in the near future.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
I'm a proud member of Climate Reality Project Fellow as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak
And have a
Fabi,
nice day.
and then see you next time. Thank you for the outlook. Thank you. So yeah, if to connect about, Pak Fabi explained a lot about clean energy, and then that's from the transportation. The action plan for energy transition is the transport, solar. What about the others? Is there any other things that we can do to achieve that climate neutrality? Especially, probably we talk about tourism, we talk about industry. Is there anything else that we can do, able to do? Bu Amanda, and Bu Amanda just come back from COP28, and maybe there's some insight that Bu Amanda would like to share on what is it, especially with the tourism. What can we do? What else that we can do for the climate transition?
That's interesting. Why energy is the focus of climate action? Because more than 70% of carbon emission that cause climate change comes from the energy sector. That's why all the conversation is about energy. But we have to understand that in addressing climate change, we have to do it interdisciplinary because there are lots of subjects that could work on climate action, and that it has to be international because climate change is a global problem that needs global mobilization of resources. And then it has to be, of course, intergenerational. It cannot be just us. We have to also involve children, youth, women, persons with disability. So that's the basics of it. And who should do it? Because you raised that question as well. As individuals, we can do a lot. For example, in this hotel, Mr. Vincent, thank you so much for putting all the information in the room that if you don't want to change the bed sheet, you can put the Jalak Bali, you know. There are small issues like that, and also in the restaurant. You know, I was skeptic yesterday when I went to the reef. I saw, oh, straw. Ibu Susi will be mad if you see straw in the restaurant. But then it's made of cassava. So it's beautiful, and it's not paper, so it stands for a long time, you know, drinking the lovely drinks in the restaurant. So individuals, you can do a lot. And then, like Ibu Susi said, the lunch is really great. Yes, like you said, it's not spicy, but it's tasty, very delicious. So then, it's really true, right? We have everything. So then what can you do as individuals? You don't have food waste because food waste is also creating climate change. So there are lots of issues that you can do individually. And then, of course, organizationally, what can you do as an organization? There are lots of organizations here that can do lots of work. And there are corporations like Apurva Kempinski and its hotel chain. So corporations can also do lots of climate actions. And the most important thing is, of course, the government. Ibu Kiki mentioned, well, Ibu Kiki is only doing speech, but that's very important, Bu, because policies are very important, especially related to climate, because it can affect lots of people that has to follow or has to abide to all the rules. So we all can do many, many things. Now, in terms of COP28, I just came from the UN Climate Change Conference in Dubai, where there were 110,000 people registered. Then, of course, it's carbon emission again, but lots of people are doing carbon offset, of course. And we are doing that too, because otherwise, I mean, you are not, you don't walk the talk, you just talk, and that's not good. So, and then there were complaints by the tourism people. They said that there is not enough talk on tourism in Dubai, whereas the carbon emission from the hospitality or from tourism, we know it's about 10%. But there are good meetings at COP28. In COP26 in Glasgow in 2 years ago, there was the Glasgow Declaration on Climate Action in Tourism. It's being led by the UNWTO, and it encourages the acceleration of climate action in tourism by securing commitments to reduce emission in tourism by at least 50% over the next decade and achieve net zero as soon as possible before 2050. So signatories of this Glasgow Declaration on Climate Action, they work in 5 pathways, including measuring, decarbonizing, regenerating, collaborating, and finance, of course, to accelerate and coordinate climate action in tourism. It is interesting that as of November 2023, the number of signatories has grown to 857 signatories. And I'm proud to say, Ibu Kiki, that in Indonesia, there are 9 entities signing to the global Glasgow Declaration on Climate for Tourism, including the Ministry of Tourism, Parekraf. So I'm very happy to see that. So in Dubai, the signatories showcased what they're doing in terms of climate actions in the tourism industry, in hotel, in cruises, and other things. And then another important thing that came out in Dubai is the first tourism and climate change stocktake report that has been released by the Tourism Panel on Climate Change. There are also interesting information there, so we know, or at least the tourism industry will know what to do next. And it's not only those organizations, but country pavilions are also doing lots of things. The Indonesia Pavilion, for example, it is a means of conducting soft diplomacy to voice Indonesia's actions, strategies, and innovations to the international world. It's a concrete form of jointly leading climate action. And what everybody who goes to COP like about Indonesia Pavilion is we always have beautiful Indonesia Pavilion design, of course, and free Indonesian food. So it's always a long line at the Indonesia Pavilion because we always have free food. And then interactive dances like Maumere, Poco Poco at the Indonesia Pavilion. And Indonesian souvenirs, we distribute Indonesian souvenirs. And also, of course, Indonesian coffee is always liked by many of the COP participants.
Yes, the coffee from Indonesia is pretty good. So it's interesting the tourism highlighted in COP28, yeah, and then what happened 2 years ago. There's 5: measuring, decarbonization, finance, and what are the other 2 people? Decarbonizing, finance. Yeah, but yeah, back to where we are in Bali and in tourism in Bali. Do you think that we can achieve that? Like, it's been a talk for 2 years.
Yeah, like what Mr. Vincent was explaining is one of the 5 pathways, regeneration, because you know you have the
planting, carbon offset,
and also the carbon offset, and also the gardens, the hydroponic, and everything. So sometimes stakeholders or hotels or restaurants, they don't know that they're doing good things. So maybe, for example, Ecotourism Bali, you could point to these restaurants and hotels, hey, you're doing good things. Sometimes they don't realize it. And of course, it is also good if it's good for business, like either cost saving or marketing, like Mr. Vincent kept saying. So it's not just doing it for the environment only, because behind every crisis, there's always opportunity on it.
So it's a holistic, it's not just compliance, but there are benefits like economically, socially, and yeah, if we're talking about the climate, it is related with the emission that, let's say, local sourcing is also related with the reducing carbon, right?
Yeah, and also the most important terms that people keep saying right now is climate justice.
Oh, yeah.
So what Mr. Vincent explaining was, you just said you have hundreds of items on your list, but I heard that many of these things are also related to climate justice, especially for local people.
Correct, yeah. And then you're producing ESG report, right? So everything can be measured, and then you can improve from that, and that what you're doing is related to positivity on the climate. So that is the aim of why you're doing like Earth Check or the report. Why is that?
I mean, we are doing it for our governance and to make sure that we obviously record everything properly and we establish it, and then from there on, we are going to have to set up our own targets,
Yes.
which is what everybody is trying to achieve. It's where are we at, and that was a bit of the talk, and where do we need to go. When it comes to, you mentioned just now about hotels in Bali, I'd just like to mention that the Bali Hotel Association has got a team of people working with the hotels, basically, to be able to develop green initiatives. So you've got over 130 hotels involved in it. So a lot is happening in Bali, and I think it's important that we all talk about it. We are not just the only ones. There is a lot of people doing amazing work out there. And I think it's a great opportunity to say that, yes, the hotels, and over 130 of them, are involved into it in Bali. So
there are things happening in Bali towards this climate neutrality.
well, it is with Bali tourism. So we all have to participate,
Yeah.
and we all have to be in it, and we all have to. We talk about collaboration. We talk about the people around us, and we are here to increase the awareness, create awareness, awaken people to what is coming up.
And it's also to show it's possible.
Yeah, it's
because
possible, and create consciousness. And the more people aware, the more will happen. For me, on the consumer side as well is people are getting extremely conscious about the impact. And now they are demanding different services, or they are demanding that hotels as such, or it be airlines, it would be anybody, it could be a transportation, basically justify their acts. So they can basically spend, even if they want to spend $1 more into it, and recognize that these people are doing something. It's very, very important, and this consciousness is coming. It's coming fast, and I think that's the good news in achieving what the world is trying to achieve in many ways.
And I hope that could be one of the inspiration for the other fellow operator that is doable, it is possible, and then we can work it out, because the market demand it, and it's only increased by, it only grow that now customer really see why they need to choose one brand, because there's a lot of competition as well. But if you stand up with this impact that there's something coming back to the environment or the community or the climate, it is something that might stand up in the market. Is it correct?
It will be.
It will be. I hope so
But
too.
it is happening. So the good news is that, yes, there is an alarm which was mentioned earlier on, but I think the consumer is the one who is going to push this as well. And I think it's very important to promote the consumer in some ways, but they put their demands forward. So anybody, any trade, it's not just the tourism, but any trade can contribute in ensuring that we participate fully. It's coming with the new generation. Everything is very, very fast nowadays with communication. So, if anything, many of the businesses are going to be caught up with it and are going to be left behind. And soon we will see more of this impact. So I think, yes, everybody is here talking about it, but I think the news are very positive when we look at the future.
Okay. So yeah, I already see the sign of stop, so I need to summarize and then have the last. Maybe Ibu have the last opinion about. So what do you think, Ibu, of Bali? Can we achieve the climate neutrality for Bali
Yeah,
tourism?
I think that there has to be like a lot of political will. Because I mean, being a climate presenter means we know how dire it is. We've got 6 years left in order to achieve, what was it, 1.5, right? And I think there's no question, in my mind at least, that we are heading to 2 or even more. As we know, I think it was September, right? We exceeded 2-degree increase. And this is affecting not only land, but also the ocean. And being an island, we have a lot of tourism activities. So I think that's why Ecotourism Bali is really interested to raise the awareness on climate and its impacts on tourism with more disasters, sea level rise, the warming seas, so many things that can affect tourism and in fact will affect. So we need to be prepared. I mean, we know when we may not be able to halt this because this is a global phenomena, but we can definitely do many things, just like Apurva is doing, and this is why we're urging all hotels and restaurants to be more sustainable. Let's not contribute to this warming that we're experiencing. At the same time, we have to be ready. I think we have to be ready. That's my point. And if we have enough political will with the government of even the province of Bali, I think has to be, how do you say, speak up more, the Bali Tourism Board. And so if we act together, I think that we will be able to mitigate in a lot of ways, I feel. So there is hope, there is optimism, but definitely we got to get to work.
Okay, yeah, like Pak Fabi said also, the government, because he worked a lot with the government, provincial, so there's potential, at least the government or policymaker, they already raised the question or what is the action plan and then the strategy, they strategize the province on how to achieve that. And yeah, I think that's it. Maybe I open a question. Do we still have time for questions? Yeah. So I'm going to open a questions from the audience. Yes, and also online, probably if there is. Okay. Silakan Bapak Ibu. So I will open 3 questions, and then after the 3 questions, I will let the panelists to answer.
Terima kasih. Nama saya Afi Purnomo. Saya dari Tanjung Sari Hotel Sanur, and by chance also I the chairman of Sanur Hospitality Forum, and also I member of the committee of the Hotel Association Denpasar, and from Pata, Bali. So yeah, thank you Bu Susi untuk undangannya. Saya bisa hadir di sini. So yeah, we are very lucky actually we're here inside, but if you go outside, it's very warm. So if we talk about the climate change, I think we're not talking about awareness anymore. We have to do some actions because it's here already, the climate change. And we are lucky we are here. Yeah, there's from everyone, we heard that there are lots of initiative already, Pak Vincent dari Apurva untuk for the carbon emission. But I think I just wanted to address one thing which is also contributed to the carbon emission, which is garbage. And while we are here, we are sitting here, the garbage is producing in Bali especially. This is the data that I get in 2023 per year. There are about 300,000 tons of garbage every year. And half of it was burned, dibakar. Setengahnya dibakar, and it's also contributed to the carbon emissions, surely. And the leftover, about 33,000 tons. 33,000 tons is about 2,600 buses. So you can see how much garbage produced by Bali. We are talking about Bali this time. very unfortunate that we, hotels and restaurants, actually is the one who contributed so much for the garbage. Unfortunately, I'm also from the hotel, and I see like every day how much garbage we produce. And we in Bali, there are 140,000 rooms, and restaurants about 2,800 restaurants now in Bali. So every time, like what I said before, we are here, sitting here, the garbage producing. So I just wanted to ask maybe to the panelists, and even Pak Fabi was mentioning also about the initiative of the Bali government, but Bu Susi also addressed just now about the political will. That was very important. But I think I just wanted to share, and maybe the panelists can also share, how can we, I mean, all this volunteer can work to approach, especially I think has to be the political will from the government, has to have one commitment that we have to make this never ever happen again about this, how to manage the garbage especially. Because I remember when long time ago I was invited also by the government also when they're going to have the, what you call it again, Hari Bumi. I forgot what year, but it was a long time ago before Bali committed not to use plastic. And then I said, well, why don't we, you know, this year we have a commitment that the Bali will not use plastic, and everyone just, oh, that's impossible, and it's very difficult. But then luckily, Bali government committed to have a regulation that we are not going to use plastic, even though now I still see lots of plastic around in Bali. I mean, it's in everywhere now still. So I just wanted to ask the panelists, maybe also ada dari ibu dari government juga, how can we make this as a political that the government really committed to address about this garbage? Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Alfi. Thank you. And then ada Bapak yang di depan satu. So the question is for the whole panelists, the political will, and then what can we do about this topic?
Halo.
Silakan, Pak.
Ya.
Halo.
Kan saya Windu, saya akan bicara dengan bahasa Indonesia saja jika tidak masalah, karena saya lihat hadirin banyak yang dari Indonesia juga. Untuk pertanyaan saya mungkin ke Ibu Amanda. Ibu, kalau masalah dekarbonisasi, Bu, kita semua menyadari bahwa peralih ke arah energi baru terbarukan memang harus dilakukan. Elektrifikasi terhadap kendaraan dan transportasi pun harus dilakukan. Tata kelola sampah yang baik harus dilakukan untuk mencegah metana keluar di udara. CSR yang impactful harus dilakukan. Tapi secara realita di ranah korporasi, langkah-langkah pengurang itu biasanya ada batasan atau
Keterbatasan.
nyangkut bottleneck. Jadi usaha reductionnya mentok. Nah, ketika sudah sampai di sana, menurut pandangan Ibu Amanda, udah hidup, thank you. Menurut pandangan Ibu Amanda, apakah permanence removal melalui carbon credit sebuah langkah yang etis untuk dilakukan, Bu? Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Carbon credit apakah solusi? Oke, apakah ada lagi? Dari online apakah ada pertanyaan? Tim? Kalau tidak kita oke. So, oke, kalau gitu saya akan kembalikan ke
Hi, good afternoon.
Okay, yeah.
I'm Sean. I'm the new chairman of the Bali Hotels Association for 2024.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I just want to congratulate Vincent as leading by example. We're here today to give support, and we talk about sustainability, but we've actually got 168 hotels. So 130 are participating, but we still got 30 more to come onto the list. And we just want to say to everybody that when it comes to sustainability, there's best practices. And there's a lot of contribution from each hotel on what we're doing within Bali. There are foundations that are converting plastic into children's furniture that, for example, the Melia is using in their kids club. So there are ways to support sustainability, but also climate change on small practices. So when the time is right, please do reach out to the Bali Hotel Association, and let's see what we can do to support the best practices around Bali to better. There was one way that we talked about support, but education. And I know that we've done a lot of it, but it is true. The younger generation right now is very willing to support. And if there are any communities that have these properties or charities that we can support on to educate, let us know, because that's what we're here for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bapak. Sean. One more question. Ibu Kiki?
Thank you so much. I have a question for the hotel, especially BHA or the 4 and 5 star hotel actually. How do you cope with the food loss, food waste? And during we have like a meeting, conference, big conference, there always a coffee break, and then always there is a cake and everything that I see sometimes become not people that eat it. That I remember on 2008, I have a conference here in Bali at the time, and then I asked that hotel, so can we just provide two cake and then fruits, not too many food for the coffee break, because we just finish our breakfast and then sometimes we don't eat much on that coffee break. So but the hotel say that no, because this is 5-star hotel, so we cannot reduce our services, so we cannot accept my proposals. So now, how you cope with this? Is it still when a coffee break, you still service more than 4 kind of cake or that's it? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. It's always a very difficult question, and the wastage is we provide what is required from the client. Okay, so for the client to make their choice is very important in order to address this. On our side, what we can address is the production and make sure we don't overproduce. I think that's all the hotels can do. Now, I'm not here to judge what the other hotels are doing. I just know that we are very much aware of it, and we are extremely careful. We come to a point that we tend to produce what is required, and then everybody at the end is recycled in different ways. Okay, if we can. If something is put on a buffet for too long, it will not be recycled. Yes, that's correct. We can't do this. It's a hygiene issue, which we are sincerely, we are very aware of it, so we are being very careful. Otherwise, things are being recycled mostly. Yes. Wastage is very minimum in hotels when it comes to food. Hotels work with good system, and as Sean was here saying, I think the hotels are very aware of it, and everybody is working towards it. So, it's only a very small part. Yeah. I think there's probably more wastage on the production of the product, if you know what I mean. So that's just at the end of it. Okay.
But
Thank you.
could it also be like two sides of like, if let's say you part of like commitment, and I want to connect with what Sean said also, like part of educating the customer, let's say for the buffet, and then why, let's say you change from a bigger from big plate to small plate. This is part of our commitment. And is it possible to like, so you kind of like creating middle way to, for sure, to provide the customer is the top priority, but also join hand in hand to work on this, let's say work on the food waste. Is it something that is doable for hotel?
These conversations happen. Okay, so it's not like they're not there. This conversation happens. Now, obviously, it comes to the end. It's the client and what they want to show, and what they want, how they want to welcome their guests as well. So it's not our guest necessarily. They use our hotel, but it's their guest. So I think it's again, it's working together in creating awareness. And I think these conversations are happening. As much for the wedding, you know, we are creating a green wedding, because we want to create awareness that you don't necessarily need to bring, everything can be recycled. So if you go on our website or if you go on our Instagram, you will see the photographs we've done for the green weddings, and every single piece is recyclable of the decoration, okay? Now people want to use it or not is their choice, you know, or the wedding organizers or the client, because there's many parts involved. We are just the end. We are servicing people. We are serving a wedding organizer. We are servicing a client. We are servicing a decorator. We are servicing many people. So we can talk about it. We can create awareness. We can get people to be conscious. That we do. Now, can we control their wishes? I'm sorry, we can't control everybody's wishes. Yeah.
But
I think the conversations are there. But as I said earlier, all of this is becoming so obvious nowadays, and people are so much commenting on it that it's happening. It's coming, and I can only say that the news are pretty good, and the future is bright, as much as we say.
I like that.
Because and the future is green because people are talking about it. People want it nowadays, and people ask for it nowadays. So it's there.
Thank you, Pak Vincent. And I would like to address the first question from Pak Afi to the whole panelists about garbage and plastic. Maybe Ibu would like to.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's some of us here who are very, very concerned about plastic waste. So I guess due to COVID, we're kind of seeing it going back, aren't we? I know Jane and Paula are here and both very involved with the plastic advocacy, shall we say. So maybe it's just time for normal people to have a petition, in my own view, yeah, as an activist. Maybe we should just petition and make it stronger that the people of Bali don't want us to go back to having lots of plastic like in the past. We need to have the government, enforce the plastic law, for instance. And also on the waste management, I mean, we all who live here know all about this, yeah, about the TPA burning in 3 different places. That's due to climate change, by the way, because of the methane and then the very high temperatures we're experiencing. So that's also related to climate change. And I know it was happening all across Indonesia, yeah, the TPA which were burning. Yeah. So I think that I know I've spoken to somebody in the ministry, gitu ya, di bagian lingkungan. They said that they are trying to build, how many? I forgot. Lots and lots of TPA 3R, yeah. But then in reality, some of the operations not very good. So again, you know, so one of the things that I had spoken to Ami, maybe one of these occasions we're going to have a event like this, but we'll only be talking about waste, and we'll invite everybody to have a really good conversation. I hope Pak Afi and everybody else who's interested in this, we can all get together and, you know, really put people on the spot and say, what are we doing? You know, so that's just my
to shake the
perspective.
boat, and then that is still a problem because post-COVID, it's like, okay, business back, and then before COVID it happened because there's policy, no single-use plastic, but yeah, now it's kind of like faded. And I want to address the question from Pak Windu to Bu Amanda about decarbonization. What do you think about this carbon credit offset?
Yeah, we always talk about net zero emission, where the absorption has to be equal with the emission. And there are ways to do it. And of course, we are concentrating on fossil fuel because that's the biggest emission source. And then in Indonesia, right now, the biggest emission source is from the forestry sector. There are also from waste and industrial use. There are many ways to do that. And carbon credit recently has lots of attention because the Indonesian government just issued, well, a string of regulations on it. So, but it does not mean that we have to rely on carbon credit. And also, it's a tedious way to learn about the process. There will come regulations on how to do it step by step by the ministries. And of course, there is the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, Ministry of Forestry, and there are also other government institutions trying to really not chip in, but how can we benefit from the carbon credit? That's what everybody's trying to do. And what disheartened me is when many people in the regional government ask, well, how can we benefit from the carbon credit? Because we haven't seen the results yet of how to do it efficiently. I know there are places in Bali, I think it's a waste management organization work and gets the carbon credit from the voluntary carbon market. But the government doesn't want that. So it has, right now, it has to be regulated by the government. So right now what we have to do is really understand and how can we, if we really would like to get the carbon credit for our business, for example, is it feasible? Is it possible? And of course, the government is having a consultation time. Either it's public consultation or some organizations, non-government organizations, can go to the government offices and ask. But the process is too long. Yes, it could be one solution, but it's not the panacea. It cannot solve all the carbon emissions through carbon credit.
It's not one-time solution. Yes, agree. If you're already doing within the process to reduce, then yeah, it's not like the only solution. You just do the sin for carbon and then just offset it. It's not as simple as that. So yeah, it's good to integrate it to the operational at how to reduce the carbon emission. And I think Waterboom is one of the pioneer of this like how you can really do an impact for the climate, right? You do quite a lot, yeah, and we highlight one time for the.
To be talking about one hotel, but please, we are just part of a bigger organization, and I know how much BHA is doing. BHA is going to villages, is doing a lot of activities as such. For us, I mean, to answer what are we doing, as I said, we have the bipartite committee, which basically creates activity through their different clubs and go into the communities to do all of this. So, this morning we were planting trees in the, so yeah, that's what we do. But everybody does that. It's not just the hotel. We can do that about tourism in Bali. There are other industries in Bali. We can do exactly the same. We are all together in this. We talk about just the answer about the garbage. The system needs to change, and I think we know that. Okay, but we are here to help for the change. But please provide the change for us. We will support it very, 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 very fast. We'll be there with you. So yeah, creating awareness, like we came at the beginning, is the key thing. Bringing everybody together is the answer to the challenges we face. And it's not just Bali, it's everywhere, yeah? I just come from Europe, and I've got the chance of, we've worked or traveling a lot. It's worldwide, it's not just here.
Thank you. Yeah, silakan Ibu Amanda.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a really interesting question. In the last 2 years, journalists are saying that storytelling is part of a climate solution. So we need lots of stories because we are fed up with data, with graphs. We need stories. So like Pak Vincent, maybe you could, ask your staff to write stories about what you're doing. And if there are many stories, people would be inspired. Maybe in Ecotourism Bali can make an e-book about several stories of how hotels and restaurants are doing it, but not only the business, but the stories of the people who are doing the work. That would be interesting.
We are doing exactly that next year.
Yeah.
That's the plan. We are taking taking it one step further, and next year we are starting this, where basically the stories are going to be published.
Good.
So watch for us.
It's getting
Thank
warmer,
you.
but thank you, thank you.
I didn't prepare for this question, but I've got the answer.
Thank you for that. So this session is. I hope the panelists is quite pleased, and then also the audience. And I would like to wrap the talk show session, and I would like to thank you for the insight, Bapak dan Ibu, and then also to panelists. So, last one, just to summarize, can we achieve it? 2045? Yes, no question. That's it. Everybody. Ibu Amanda, you want to answer? Can we achieve the climate neutrality in 2045? What do you see?
What year is it now?
Now 2023. So in 22 years to come.
Oh yes, of course.
Okay, no. One, we need to answer it all together. So can we achieve climate neutrality for Bali in 2045?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Congratulations. And then thank you. Big round of applause for the panelists. Thank you, Bapak and Ibu. And then, I think I would like to give back to the MC for the next session. And then thank you.
Once again, let's give one big round of applause to all of the panelists, because after this, we will continue with the climate-friendly travel. So Climate-Friendly Travel Bali has strived to create a climate-friendly travel system by creating community of champions, registry, and also developing CFT projects by identifying and develop locally initiated projects that could be solar electrifications of villages, water sanitation, and many more. I'm sure that the audience would like to know more, and we have our specialties here. And I would like to give the time and the stage back to Ibu Rahmi. The stage is yours.
Yes, thank you, Wendy. And I would like to say hi to Professor Jeffrey Lippman. Hello.
Hi. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you really well. Yeah, can you hear us?
I can, yes, very well, and also see you.
Okay,
It's
good.
It's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too. And again, I would like to invite Bapak Agung to come on stage. Bapak Agung, Prof, there's Pak Agung here. Maybe need to go upstairs. And Ibu Amanda, could you please come to the stage again? Silakan Pak Agung. Maybe wave to Jeffrey.
Jeffrey,
There's-
it's Pak Agung from Udayana.
There's Agung here, Jeffrey. On
Yeah,
stage.
we have just been exchanging emails during the last session. It's always a pleasure to see my friend Agung.
Okay.
Who,
Silakan. So yeah, Prof, let me start to introduce about our session about climate-friendly travel. We would like to start the session with a video. Is the multimedia ready?
The video about SunX Malta, I believe.
Oh yeah, SunX
Yes.
Malta.
So everyone, we are now, Ecotourism Bali is now part of the SunX Malta, which is a climate-friendly, promoting climate-friendly tourism all across the world. So we are now part of the network, and Professor Jeffrey Lipman will tell us more about it.
So tell us more after the short
After the video.
introduction. Yes, after the video. Can we start the video?
SunX was probably conceived 25 years ago at the Rio Earth Summit in 1992. There's just one existential issue. If we don't fix climate change, your kids, my kids, our grandchildren, they're not going to be here. Enough is enough. You can't keep doing business in this same fashion. You have to change things.
Okay, and that is the introduction about climate-friendly travel and SunX Malta. Please give a round of applause to the CFT, or climate-friendly travel. And today we have Professor Jeffrey Lipman as the founder of climate-friendly travel. And Prof, you have something that you would like to share about CFT, and especially you have a plan B for this climate, especially in the industry of tourism. I might give the floor to you, please, Professor.
Well, thank you, Rami, and it was good to be here a little early and to listen to the last panel, and it really puts the comments I have to say today into context. And it's also good to be back with you in Bali for the second time in a month. But unfortunately, this time it's only virtually, and I can't enjoy looking out of my window. I can't enjoy the pleasure of the Bali climate.
It's a bit hot now.
I have the same message as I delivered a month ago. We're in the midst of a world war. Third World War is on the climate crisis. And you can see this with every crazy, unpredictable wildfire, hurricane, flood, drought, heat wave, glacier meltdown, or sea level rise, and they're happening everywhere, all over the world. And with them, they are bringing hundreds of thousands of climate refugees. And you only have to look to not too far distant from you globally, to those small islands in the Pacific, Tuvalu, Kiribati. We're already feeling the rising seawater is reducing their land space. The challenge we all face, highlighted at the annual climate COPs, like the 28th one you were just talking about, which is just completed in Dubai, in UAE, wherever we are on the planet, the key issue, how to simultaneously respond to the worsening extreme weather reality, and reduce rapidly greenhouse gas emissions to get to zero 2050. And let me say, I'm not talking about net zero, I'm talking about zero 2050. Because if you don't focus on a concrete target and you muddle it with alternative approaches where the technology hasn't yet been invented, or carbon offsets with many questionable practices in this field, we know that big oil is still going to continue to want to keep pumping, and countries are still wanting to secure energy security this way. I say this against the backdrop of an IPCC report issued last year that says that no country is anywhere near the reductions it has committed to achieve Paris 1.5. And that report called for emissions to peak in 2025, just 2 years from now, peak emissions. And I also do it, and more personally, against the backdrop of a new TPCC report, which was mentioned in the previous panel, Tourism Panel on Climate Change, where I, together with Professors Susan Beckham from Australia and Daniel Scott from Canada, we've been overseeing 60 plus climate scientists and tourism experts producing a similar report for the first time ever to the IPCC for tourism. That TPCC report produced a stock take this year, which makes it very clear that tourism is in a worse position than most countries identified in the IPCC report. Our emissions are increasing faster than the norm. The TPCC report says we must go further and we must go faster. And here, I know, every community has its own specific challenge. How can you make such radical changes in the context of your own reality, your unique culture, your traditions, your geography, above all, your economics and lifestyle well-being, and last but not least, your politics? In the climate world, they talk of high ambition groups. And this is a message I have today for you in Bali. We need this also for tourism. Communities who are prepared to step into the spotlight and call for a change and become what we are calling at Sun X, high ambition, strong climate-friendly travel champions. Can Bali be such a community? That's my big question to you today. In Bali, as a world-famous iconic destination, you're already in the tourism spotlight. You have your own special dynamics. And I see my friend Agung on the stage. Together, over a decade ago, we instituted a major study for Gert Ardika when he was the tourism minister of Indonesia, looking at Bali as a green growth destination. And I know from that work and from the results of that study how deep your Tree Hitakarana culture is, how good your powerful tourism product is, and also how much capacity pressure you have, both from your own success and the constrained living space of a small island. And now we are all confronting life-threatening global climate demands and totally unpredictable weather patterns which have historically been predictable and on which your tourism product has been based. Can Bali become a strong tourism climate champion community? And at Sunex, we think you can, and we think we can help. We believe in acting, not simply declaring. And let me make a comment here. Yes, the Glasgow Declaration was a good first step, but 800 people who have signed it, including individuals, let's not fool ourselves. We have to act beyond declarations. At Sunex Malta, we've actually built a number of programs to support what we call a climate-friendly travel framework. And they include, number one, a landmark diploma with ITS in Malta. And we have students on this course from Indonesia now. A UNFCCC linked registry, the only tourism link into the UNFCCC system to commit to transformation. An activist chapter structure for local engagement. Fourth, a Plan B support for climate-friendly travel growth. Fifth, and this is important because we launched it in Bali a month ago, a club for climate-conscious travelers, mainly young adventurers looking to explore great destinations, but also concerned to do it in a way that benefits the communities they visit and does the right thing for the planet. And that club is based on giving benefits to people who are climate conscious, not questionable carbon offset payments to airlines, and nobody knows where it goes and nobody knows how good that is. It just becomes another click box in between, do you want insurance and do you want to sit next to the person you're traveling with? Give us a few dollars here. And last but not least, we've created a social enterprise facility to provide blended finance for Plan B development and implementation. So I think we in Sunex have a program framework that we can work with you in Bali to help Bali become a global leader in this field. And today we're taking the first step in launching our Bali climate-friendly travel chapter. And on the stage, I'm so pleased to see the leaders of this chapter from the Ecotourism Society of Bali and obviously driven by Susie and Rami, and I'm particularly happy to see my longtime friend and colleague Agung on stage as well, because we need your support, and I'm still believing we, along with the youth, we need some older heads to guide. Our Bali chapter leaders will recruit like-minded colleagues and reach out to the tourism industry to join our free climate-friendly travel support registry, so we can help them to develop climate action plans. I listened to Sean in the earlier section, the new congratulations on becoming the head of the Bali Hotel Association. We need your members, we need you to be an active part of this program. We need to respond to the operational dimensions of the climate crisis, not just to make nice promises 30 years into the future. And the overriding immediate focus must be to start to consider how to deal with the looming extreme weather threat. Our chapter will also provide a base for a climate-friendly travel plan B that will allow Bali to respond to Paris 1.5 imperatives in a more focused way, to address relevant SDGs, those that are applicable to Bali, and to deliver nature-positive, top-class tourism products. When I was here a month ago, I promised that SunX would provide a draft plan B for Bali.
Correct.
And this I recommit to do today. And to advance these climate resilience program, our chapter will be hosting workshops, providing educational and social media materials, and it will reach out into village communities to strengthen the buy-in. So let me say, finally, we look forward to working with you in the pivotal years ahead. We look forward to bringing climate-friendly travel growth. And I say growth because if you're not polluting and you're not creating over-tourism in your community, there is no reason why tourism should not grow and continue to provide the benefits we all know that it provides. So for our part, we commit to make Bali a primary global focal point in a better world that we will help to create together. And don't forget, we are doing this not for ourselves, but for our kids and our grandkids.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the explanation about climate-friendly travel. And as a chapter leader, Ibu Susi Hutomo will now present about...
Yeah, I have just a couple of slides. Yes, indeed, SunX Malta have been working with us to talk about the Plan B for a climate-friendly travel for Bali. And I've just taken some of the very important points, and these are the things that Rahmi and I know there is another member, Ibu Eka over there, who's also from climate-friendly travel. This is something that we're going to try and keep doing. So let's have a look. Next. Yep. So the first one, like what we're doing today, we're going to be continuing to doing workshop and forums to discuss the climate risk, especially with regards to tourism, as we know. Next. Educational campaigns, we're going to be working with some of the groups in schools. We already connected with GYC, it's called. It's a group of very young people who are very concerned about environment and climate. So we're going to talk to them about more local language kind of materials that we can send out to schools. Next. Yep, and basically we already have how many ambassadors, Rahmi?
15.
15? Yeah, we already have in our network 15 ambassadors, and we're going to be training more and more people so they can be a champion on the climate and also on sustainability with Ecotourism Bali. Okay, I think that's really it. So those are the 3 commitments that we're making as the Bali chapter of climate-friendly travel. Back to you,
Thank
Rami.
you, Ibu. And then that is the introduction about SunX Malta and climate-friendly travel, that Ecotourism Bali proudly affiliated with climate-friendly travel. And then, of course, there's a plan to continue the mission about this climate-friendly travel. And then I would like to invite Ibu Anak dan Ibu Kiki to go up.
Ibu Eka, silakan. And also, by the way, Jeffrey, I think
Ibu
Ibu
Hanifah, please,
Kiki,
yeah. And then we're gonna do
Ibu
official
Rizky is
launching.
also a friend of yours, Jeffrey, from the Ministry of Tourism. If you're
Please,
still there,
Ibu.
Jeffrey.
And then we're gonna do the official launch.
Oh
of
wow,
Climate
that's a great pleasure to see Risky again. Yes.
So now we're going to do like a little bit of a virtual launch, yeah? Okay.